I'm Li Hua and I come from the Earth.
From the earth. So I guess you took my class, right? And
Oh yes, the previous version. Okay.
okay, what from my class was relevant to you? What did you remember about my class?
Now it reminds me of where am I? What do I need? And what if where I am is exactly what I need? And what does the space need? Yeah, the three questions. I was thinking, that's it. That's most relevant because I'm in the process of thinking where I'm going to go. But now I'm here, so it must be some reason I choose to be here, or something choose me to be here.
Yeah.
Can I ask you?
Yeah, you can ask me. You can ask me. Yeah, that's good too. Yeah.
How do you prepare? Or how did you prepare your classes? It's like improvisation, or you decide like days before?
Oh, okay. It's like a mix. I had like a theme in mind, and I had intention to make like something accessible for different people. People can look, and they don't have to look.
It's
So
like invite five senses at least.
kind of like that. Yeah.
More
yeah,
than
yeah.
five senses.
Yeah, and
Okay.
yeah, and I have questions about space. Like for me, like contact is about like becoming aware of the space, the body of space, and the space around, and how they're like kind of like this. Yeah,
Interact.
yeah. And I want like a kind of open question to people, so it's not necessarily like me giving the content, more like kind of asking to the people, and people can offer as something that people can share with each other. Yeah,
That's
sort
what
of my.
I like this part too.
Yeah, and okay, and now I'm aware of the question. uh, any uh, any kind of particular flavor you get from me as a facilitator?
Flavor.
Would be helpful for me.
You are like a little bit sticky, right? When I dance with you too, you're like soft, a little bit sticky, but yes, it needs a little bit patience to chew the flavor out, and also because of the physics background, you invite like space, time, and this kind of mysterious thing into the theme of your class. That's something obsessive by, or interests me a lot. I was kind of like, wow, when I'm dancing, I'm thinking about all this concept, and then I dance out of my habits, patterns, and that's what I like.
What part of the class that you like the most? Any surprise? Any like moments?
It's like the four. Do you remember? Physics and the emotion and
The inquiry and the expression.
expression. And yes, these two are a little bit new to me because I was not pay attention to whether I'm an expression or a discovery, right?
Yeah,
It's
curious
like
or
curious.
inquiry. Yeah, curiosity.
Yes, because I sometimes when I bump into these two, I realized I was doing this the same time. But in this emotion or physics, I kind of a little bit more to the emotion, or it depends on who I'm a dance with. But yes, in some occasions I dance with a lot of emotion, and then that reminds me to realize what stage or which place I'm in right now. So it's like gain more light into the presence, or be more consciousness to aware where I am. yeah, this helps.
Interesting. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The coordinate.
Yeah.
The coordinate system,
Yes.
like kind of where you are in that.
Yeah. Actually, it's kind of sometimes mix, like run or jump.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Wow, interesting. Yeah, you're really happy to hear. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wait.
I'm from Beijing, in the Beijing CI group. My name is Hong. Hong.
Home.
It's Chinese name.
Chinese name, yeah. Oh yeah, we were talking about why CI is important for you, right? How CI is important for you, and you say it's about like feeling,
Yeah. And the daily life
daily life.
and how to don't control and follow the river. Follow the river. Yeah.
And you think that's important? It's like being not controlling. It's important for city people, right? From where you are
Yes.
in Beijing.
Yes. So I like a natural space, but I think when I want to create it, I need to stay in the city because I have a lot of inner energy and push me or give me something something want to create.
And for the different classes you join in the festival, this one, so cute. Careful. He kicked it. Yeah. So for the different things you join, like classes and jam, what are the most relevant things that you learn, you discover in the different classes, in Angelica class, you Angelica class or my class,
Yes, it's different. And in your class, I found a lot of space. You like something in the middle, and you need to like this. Yes, when I in your class feeling this, and I can choose anything. It's very freedom to discover.
Any particular moments, any particular thing that surprised you in my class? In my class, in the class you took with me, any moments, any like exercise, anything that happened that surprised you?
Yes, because it's not the body. You use a lot of things to talk it. I think it's very interesting. Maybe like this, and we can talk the body, the balance, not just use the body. I like it. So in your daily life, you can find everything is
Yeah, I'm very happy to hear. Yeah, I'm very happy. Yeah, very touching for me. Yeah.
And you make cute things. Yes, very warm. and look like kids, and everybody maybe back kids, and I really want to find anything new, imagine something new, and look something new.
Quite happy about how the class I taught turned out. I'm quite happy about it. About the that I start to really have a kind of a clear idea of the materials, the structure, and experience I share with people. I used to do this one time last year in Got Phangan in the south. Got Phangan is an island in the south, yeah. But most of the people are expat, foreigners, more Westerners, yeah.
Cool. And they like it?
They like it a lot.
But I taught it differently. Yeah, I give more of a principle and some kind of questions for people to play with. It's a bit like meditation guide in a way. And then they would share a lot of things, a lot of like experience in the space. But this time I make it more clear with the toys that it's a physical principle or a way to like observe objects or interact with objects. This time I'm more interested in about how different people can join it from different perspectives.
I want
different ways.
to share because I can speak English very well. So when I study a lot of language class, I can understand. But in your class, I can understand. You talk and I can understand. Yeah, it's very interesting. You give a lot of important information, and another is some action, some like this. I can understand because the same body. So language is not important maybe. It's very different people.
Yeah. Yasukichi has a very interesting way of teaching also, a Japanese teacher.
Yeah, in 2019, I joined her workshop in Beijing. It's very warm too. It's warm too. And not to talk a lot.
In the festival, what's the most relevant to you, the most relevant thing that you have found out this time?
Okay. I feel that's a very good point and to ask because it can bring me back like to see what's going on. So one thing I feel very surprised or like I feel appreciated, I will say two parts. Of course, one part is from yours and another part is from Mingshen Ku. Of course, like it's more kind of like familiar narrative to me. Why? Because they are originally come from Chinese-speaking countries or lands, and then like we are quite familiar with the training systems, right? So basically, like the CI narrative is quite similar, especially like Zoe comes from Shanghai, and then I'm trained under those kind of systems, so it's quite relevant. And Mingshen Ku always will raise some like new ideas because she has a lot of like teaching experience. But the most important and fun point for me is that she can separate one movement into different like segments, and then according to that, actually she can divide that into like 3 classes, 4 classes.
So I would call it like Chinese philosophy. It's more like that way, and then follow the flow and then to practice it. So this is most like impressive one for me, and I would feel really appreciate of that, because it's more like it's a CI spirit, it's without limitations, and you can feel free to explore, and with the Chinese related spirits, and to echo it, and then when go back to yours, because why I'd like to involve more workshop with you, not only like we might do some like querying CI stuff together. It's also I want to make CI at this conference more localized. So what I feel shocked or surprised is that only 3 like participants or facilitators like involved in this CI conference. So if I want to explore this country more, and I want to explore this land much more, how can I know that? Of course, it's from your perspective. I will get my first-hand material, right? And then what I feel really appreciate is that your structure is very clear. So like your teaching idea or like the style is quite different compared to Ming Shen Ku, because yours is more like structured, but you are not like separate everything into very detailed stuff. Because for example, rolling actually it can be divided into the head moving, like body shifting, but you are not trying to do that, but you bring some like main points or key points, for example space, time, and this is quite like fun for me. Why? It's like exploring the universe, right? Because our body is like that, and that moment really I'm exploring like timeless, borderless, right? And according to my background, I can bring the old like training system, like the package, into that practice, so it will make it infinite. So that's why I feel like while I'll think back, what I learned that past 3 days, it's quite clear for me why. It's because it's structured, so it's easy to follow that system to do this.
Were there any particular like exercises or things that happened in class that was like surprising or
Then like for your workshop, I mean that 3 days, what I feel, the second day, the space, that moment, because we are like creating a fluid space together. So actually, it's not like a binary space. It's more like you are creating your universe. Though you just offer like 3 points, for example, creative or like expressing or like curious or something like this, right? But actually, where did you put yourself in this space? It's like how you identify yourself, how you make the relation with this space and of even the human body, or like more than that, right? So the narrative can be the diverse. So that's why I feel wow, it's very inspired on me. And of course, like the last day of the performance part, it's very good. Why? Because it's like the feedback towards how we treat ourselves in this space and this time. Yeah. So this is like my answer to this question.
You have any question for me or any curiosity you want to ask me like about my process?
Okay, I have several questions, but it's a lot. Okay, so I know like you involved in the querying like movement. Let's see, like maybe you are not like on the first line to like stand out to do something, but still you involved in those kind of social movement, right? So how do you feel like while you are using CI or you are using art as a form or as a method to do this? Like what kind of situation you will meet? Do you think it's more like open-minded to become a tool to let people get into, or it's creating another barrier to people get into the queer world, or let's say LGBT? Yeah. It's more like inclusive, or like it's just another perspective.
That's
from
a
your
very good
observation.
question. I feel like the role of art or like artistic thinking is about creating, like to create and to critique.
Yes.
Both. I feel like it needs both sides. And queering for me is a practice. I mean, the final goal is spiritual for sure, which should be like I'll keep it later. But for on a practical level, it's about like it's a lens of looking at the how society works and how human live
Yep.
in a way that like it's natural. Like we form the normativity because it functions in some way, but it's not inclusive for everyone.
Yep.
Or it can close down like a lot of possibilities
Yep.
of what a human can be. Yeah, and it sometimes it's too fixed, too conservative, too rigid, and it's unfair. So it creates a lot of like injustice and unfairness. And my approach in relation to art, like queering an art or artistic practice, is about how can I like recondition, like uncondition ourselves, our body. Yeah, and the way we see the world. Yeah, and the critical part is like it involves the critical part also. It kind of keeps reminding us like, is this really what we want, or is this what we need? Yeah, and it really relates to the practice we did on the last day of like what exactly do we need, like does the body
yeah,
need,
yeah.
and what is possible, do we really need
Yeah,
what we think we need,
Yeah,
and that the
yeah.
querying comes into that.
Oh.
Yeah, or what is now, because now is shifting and changing all the time, and being too fixed or too rigid is about not being now also, or forgetting about the now and like
Okay,
holding on
okay.
to something or
Wow.
not letting go. Yeah, and space is it's all kind of like into this
What
question.
makes me full of the curiosity is that you, for example, as a physicist, right? And then how you will apply those kind of theory, not like a, very serious theory, but more like practical or like visible theory into the practice. And it can like creating another layer. Why? Because like at least for now, most of the CI facilitators or like CI teachers, most of them they are come from like body training background. It's not like gender or like your area, right? So I think like the new perspective will always bring something like new, right?
Yeah.
So this is like I curious about like in the future. Maybe now maybe you don't have the specific answer, but like, yeah, I'd like to follow up with your like new practice.
Yeah, it's a really good question. Yeah, this so relevant one. I feel like for me, physics is like a supporting system. Not as, because a lot of time people go to science as like a monolithic thing,
Yeah.
or some kind of authority or like a source of power to kind of even philosophical level to kind of conceptualizing and see, yeah, this is like awesome, and we should like look at the world this way, so smart, so rich. But for me, I would take like the other way around. Like I queer. I feel like by talking about the body, like by practicing the body,
Yeah.
I queer physics in a way
Wow.
into like a more kind of subjective like level, like layer of blending the subjective level of like feeling, sensing, understanding physics, and from the body knowledge, how can I re-question the pillars of physics, because
Okay.
science is super specific. You
Yeah.
and also science relies so much on instrument to measure things. And what if my question is, what if I mean the apparatus are good at objectifying, or objectivizing
Yeah.
information, or standardized information. But what if we include the body as the
Yeah.
apparatus?
Yeah.
And the point is not about objectifying or objectivizing, but to subjectivize the perception, the physical perception of the world. Yeah, or to make physics more personal. And also create like a more humanistic version of physics,
yeah.
or more diversified, more inclusive version of physics. Yeah, so that's kind of my wish.
Your
Yeah.
wish. Wow.
Yeah, so Yeah, from my workshop, you give a little feedback of what was relevant for you, that you found, yeah, what was relevant to you, if there's anything.
Because I come here with zero experience. So what you teach, first I understand only information like intellectually, but my body hadn't understood. But take 3 days with jam or discuss with other people, tiny information I collect and then integrate it with what you taught. Time-wise, space-wise, these concepts are so useful. I can see in jam, I can see the space, as you said, lower backside of me, front side, like them, and then above area. I can use wisely. Also, some people maybe enter to my space. So in this case, I much more conscious or mindful or attentive for the space more. So time-wise, this I haven't understood completely yet. But one thing quite sensational for me is sometimes feeling it doesn't come with experience. Feeling is coming late. Maybe I can realize my feeling, but this is not to follow the time length. I will experience and I will share detail about this later. But the space and then time things is very fundamental. You gave me foundation for me. And then one thing I wanted to question. Is that okay?
Yeah.
I wanted what we do this exercise and then something. This is also time wise.
Yeah, it has to do with like a big piece. See, like how we do this, it's fast, and this is getting a little bit slower, and this is the slowest, and then also the most like possibility, right? And this one, it's about for me, it's about finding this connection. Yeah. Actually, change. Yeah. It's actually very useful in the lift. Sometimes you're already on somebody's body, and if you shrink it, if you tense this part, you have less control. But here you open up the time and space to go into that space. Yeah. A lot of people are not used to going like really far there. It's kind of scary, right? So this could be. It's one tool I use a lot in finding space and on somebody's space.
The Vietnamese teacher gave me again basic things and how to live and how to live. Then he said, don't go to legs widely, just small distance and keep contact with partner and then keep continuing small keep the rhythm.
I think it's a lot to do with like finding the balance, like not too wide, not too narrow, not too tense, not too loose. It's about finding that sweet spot where you can have awareness, full awareness of space and time. That would be my understanding, my principle.
Yeah.
Yeah, how to find that. Yeah.
She gives me tips. She said there are like people with breaks, and this technique is also useful to handle some people.
But Vietnamese teacher said, don't do that for the basic level.
Yeah,
Just
right.
feel the fundamental thing.
Find a more neutral first, where's the most easiest neutral, not doing much, and then from that point on you can find all range of movement. Yeah, the more extreme ones. It's quite. I mean, like, it's a big, really big kind of like. See, it's a really big kind of library of movements. Yeah. Yeah. How did you